Yo, what is going on today, guys? We're back here for another video. So the set has been out for 2 days and rank just dropped today as I'm making this video. And I basically want to give you guys the 5 new deck lists from this new set for rank that I've been seeing the most playing in Ultra Ball 4 and Master Ball. But before we get into the top 5 decks, I do upload daily Pokemon TCG content, discussions, deck profiles, rank, and competitive gameplay if you want to stay up to date with Pokemon TCG content. I'm super close to 900, so I'd really appreciate the follow. If not, thank you just for watching this video. And yeah, let's get into the decks. So the very first deck is probably the most represented right now as I'm making this video. I have seen this deck probably 80% of the time I've been playing Ultra Ball and Master Ball. And when I watch someone's streams, I've also been seeing the same deck. So it's actually going to be Sivally and Rampardos. So if you don't know what Sivally does, Sivally is a 110 HP stage 1 with 2 energy colorless brave buddies. So it does 50 damage, but if you use a supporter on the same turn, it actually does an additional 50, so 100 damage for 2 energy. So yeah, it's just a very strong card, and because we are playing Rampardos, we are guaranteed the start of type Null. And the unique thing about both type Null and Sivally is they actually have a support card based around them, which is going to be Gladion, which puts a random type Null or Sivally from your deck into your hand. So you have a way to consistently search either type Null or Sivally. So why are we playing Rampardos? So basically, like I said, we are guaranteed the start of type Null. We have a card that searches the evolution possibly, and also thins out the deck, making it easier to find the Skull Fossil. And, you know, they both just do a lot of damage. You know, Sivally can do either 120 or 140 damage, as type Null can do either 20 or 40 in 2 turns if you do go second. And then obviously your Rampardos can do the 130 if you eventually get it out. So this is just a sample list. A lot of these decks play like different support ratios. Some play a Pokemon Center Lady. I've seen some playing a Red, some play a Sabrina. But for the most part, people play like 1 Cyrus, 1 Iono because, you know, you want to be able to find the fossils. And some people play 2 Gladion, some people only play 1. But because of Gladion's existence, we actually get away from only running 1 Pokeball. As you know, we guaranteed the start type Null, so we only have 1 other card we can find. Like I said, bro, this deck is essentially just very aggressive. It is very strong, and it's probably the best going second deck right now. And like I said, from my personal experience and, you know, watching other people, this is the most played deck right now in ranked, especially for day 1 and 2. Moving on to the second strongest deck, I think it's Buzzwole. Also, when I say second strongest, I mean second most represented. I don't know which one's stronger. Buzzwole probably overall stronger than Rampardos Sivally. Sivally is just one of those really good ranked decks because, you know, you can just like kind of like insta win. Obviously the downsides of that deck is bricking, but anyways, we have Buzzwole EX. So this is just a sample list from a tournament that's going on right now. There's a lot of different ways to play this deck. So this person is actually running 2 Cortanas, 2 Buzzwoles, and 2 Pheromosas. Some lists only play 2 Pheromosas, no Katanas. Some people will play 1. This list is personally playing 2. I like the Cortana edition because it does help with the Oricorio matchup, which I think it can be pretty rough. Because the only other way to really deal with Oricorio was Pheromosa, only 20 damage, is not really going to be able to knock out that bird. But you do have Celesteela technically, but it is a coin flip to be able to actually damage it. So I personally like the addition to the Cortana. Anyways, this person is playing like a Pokemon Center Lady and Erica. Obviously, you know, you can't Erica up on Celesteela. Sometimes you have to use Celesteela to like take a hit. So Pokemon Center Lady can be useful. Plus, if you do run into like a Poison Barb or something. But yeah, essentially this deck is just very strong, dude. You kind of have everything. You have Celesteela, which lets you swap around everything for free. So you don't have to retreat, like waste energy to retreat. You have Pheromosa that like snipes the bench, 1 opening up Cyrus, and 2 just, you know, getting something weak, so when it does come in, it can't easily get 1 shot. Cortana, which just, you know, a grass far-fetched, and then we just have Buzzwole for that 120 damage, the big like attack that we can do in this deck when we want to finish something off. Yeah, like I said, there's multiple versions to play this deck. For example, I'll pull up my list that I was using yesterday and today in rank, and I was like having pretty good success. So you can see here, my list is playing on Mars and Guzma and stuff like that, and I only have 1 Cortana. Like I said, many lists don't even play Cortana. There's just so much like variety. But like basically the main things like I've seen in like almost every deck is like 2 Pheromosas, 2 Buzzwoles, and 2 Celesteelas. I've seen some builds like running 1 Buzzwole. I personally prefer the second one. But like I said, bro, this deck just has all bench sniping, a big guy who does like big damage, grass type, so you have access to Erica, Leaf Cape to make you guys even tankier. And, you know, just be able to free switch around. So I think this is like the second most popular deck in ranked. Possibly could even be the best deck in the game. We will, you know, find out like probably like in a week and a half. But yeah, it's just a very strong deck, dude. I definitely recommend it. I think I'm on like an 8. I think I have like an 80% win rate so far just with this deck alone. So yeah, this thing is very good in the meta. Plus, I also do think it can definitely beat Sivally Rampardos. Obviously, if they high roll Rampardos right away and go in second, they will probably win. But if you go second against them, bro, you have like a pretty good chance. So the next new deck that I've been seeing a lot is actually Sivally Greninja. So I think this was made as a way to counter the Rampardos variant, because this variant is better going first, as we have Giratina if we do draw it, and we have Greninja, so you can evolve Greninja and you follow a turn if you do go first. So this one is played with both water and psychic energy. And basically, the same thing. Did you have type Null to be able to do 100, or Sivally to do 100 damage? You have the Greninja for the additional damage to be able to do like 120, 140 in a turn. Then you have the Giratina, which is pretty good to be able to ramp up in case you do go first and you don't really have any other pieces. Then something like you could like play like Irida to heal up Sivally and do 100 in the same turn, because we are playing water energy. We have the Mars, the Cyrus still, because we have Greninja. This version only has like one Gladion just because we have all the other support cards, plus we have more Pokemon. So essentially just a different way to play Sivally. Really cool to be able to get something weak enough in Greninja, be able to pull them in of Cyrus, then you get the bonus damage from Sivally. It's just like I said, just a strong combo, Brad. And Sivally is looking like it's like one of those decks, kind of like one of those decks where you kind of just like playing anything, bro. It's like very similar to like a Giratina, because it is colorless. People are like, okay, slap a Sivally Rampardos, Sivally Greninja Giratina, Sivally like Magnezone, stuff like that. So yeah, looks like Sivally is definitely a strong, at least week 1 card. Will it continue to dominate and just be good and like meta relevant? We'll have to wait and see, but like so far pretty good. So next up, I think we have like this anti-meta Decidueye deck. So I actually think this Decidueye deck goes pretty well into both Sivally Rampardos and Buzzwole, because one, if you snipe the Buzzwole, bro, and you can just damage it before it can even attack, like the Pheromosas and the Cortanas aren't really going to be able to do much damage to the Decidueye. They basically just like tickle you, and like Celesteela technically can do 100, but it's a coin flip at the end of the day, very inconsistent. So yeah, with the addition of the new Dartrix, Decidueye, and Pheromosa, I think this deck is very good. It's like a new Decidueye build besides the Masquerado one, which I think is still alright. I don't think it's the best. We gotta wait and see what the meta shakes up to be, because that's like Masquerado is like an anti-meta card. Like it's never gonna be like the best card in the game. It all depends on the meta. But anyways, we have 2 Rowlets, we have the Dartrix, and then we have the 2 Decidueyes. We have this one non-EX Decidueye that does 70 damage for 2 energy. And the reason we play this is because Oricorio is probably the worst matchup for this deck, besides the fire decks. But like any deck doesn't really have fun against fire if they get Charizard right away. So that is the reason we run the non-EX Decidueye. Then we just have Pheromosa, basically hopefully going, starting Pheromosa, sniping stuff on the bench. So when we do get the Decidueye, we get like kind of like pick off and like just, knock out the stuff they are setting up on. So just very strong. It's kind of hard to kill the Decidueye sometimes. This is so far my list. I think like the stuff that I won't change, I think this Pokemon ratio is perfect. I think the Pokeball, Rare Candy, Press Research, Erica, and the Leaf Capes, I don't think I'll change any of these. The Iono and the Mars, I'm tempted to take out the Mars for a Lily, because I think Lily is just very strong with the Decidueye. But I think Hand Disruption is very strong, so this also could be a red card. And then I don't know if I want Iono. Like, do I really need the consistency? Sometimes, I do brick, but do I just take the chance to bricking and have like a better card, like such as like a red or like a Geo, or even something like a Guzma? I'm not too sure. So you could definitely change these last 2 cards. I definitely think this is like a very anti-meta, because like I said, I think it's good against like the Sivally decks, or like at least like even. But I think it's like really good against Buzzwole. I think it actually, like so far, like from playing Buzzwole and then playing Decidueye, I think like when I played Decidueye, I think I really beat Buzzwole, and then when I played Buzzwole and I faced Decidueye, I feel like they hard beat me. So I really do think it has a very good matchup in the Buzzwole. So if you are playing a bunch of Buzzwoles, I do recommend this version of the deck. I feel like I've said that name like 20 times, dude. But yeah, just a very good deck, dude. Like nowhere is safe, because this deck is like heavily like this deck just like snipes the bench, bro. Like none of your Pokemon are ever going to be safe. Also pretty good against Dark Red Giratina as well, because you can snipe both of them with Pheromosa, and then when the Decidueye comes out, you could hopefully just like one-shot both of them back to back. So one quick update about the Decidueye deck. Actually, I ended up changing the Iono for a Pokecom, and I still like Iono better, but with Sivally Rampardos being everywhere, I kind of don't want to use Iono and give them a Skull Fossil in case they are bricking. So I ended up just changing back to Pokecom. I think either of them are fine though. Like I said previously, I just wanted to do that small update. So I did want to include this. So far in ranked, I don't think it's the most popular because Rampardos Sivally. So I do want to give you guys that note. But it was doing pretty decent in tournaments, so I do want to mention it. So that we have this Tapu Koko deck, and basically this card, if you go first, puts an energy on itself, which is very useful. So you kind of want to draw it first. If you don't draw it first, can kind of be dead. But then we have Tapu Koko, which ramps itself up to 90 damage, because the first attack puts an extra energy on it. So on your second attack of Tapu Koko, you will be doing 90 damage. So it's like a very fast, aggressive deck. Then we just thought in like Oricorio, because we're like a electric deck, and then Shaman just for some healing to let Oricorio live in case you do run into like Rocky helmets and stuff like that. This is one list. I've seen some builds actually like, you know, choosing to run that new item card for electric types. So some builds run electrical cord, some haven't. This is one of the lists from a tournament, but there's also another one in the tournament that did run this card. So this card can be pretty good to transfer energy over, because when your electric type is knocked out, you know, you can transfer energy to the bench Pokemon. So it's very cool. But like I said, I think because of Sivally Rampardos, I don't think this deck is being played that much. But if we somehow like turn into like a format where like Charizard is like very heavily played, you know, this deck can be very good because you can't play Oricorio, which is like hard walls that, and then you actually have Tapu Koko, so we actually have a good lightning type now to be able to like deal with like the stuff that would be able to beat Oricorio. So like I said, out of all these, I think it's the worst currently, but if something happens in the meta where it does become good, I did want to showcase it off. And obviously like these support ratios can change like always, but this is just like what the best one in the tournament was using. So essentially it's just a very aggressive deck, going second, very aggressive, even going first because we have Zeroara. I've seen some lists play like Dons and stuff, but you know, this is just like one list, for example. So actually, as I'm recording this, I actually just found out this. So the person who ended up using that deck is actually 10th place right now out of like 300 people. So that's just really cool. But the another variant ended up getting 23rd place, and they're actually running Pikachu EX along with the cord down here, you can see. So, you know, a couple different ways to play this deck. I just wanted to mention it. I think this variant is pretty cool because, you know, you have the Dawn, you have the Pikachu EX for a big 150 blast because of the electrical cord. Downside running Pikachu, you know, starting with Pikachu is pretty bad. If you don't have the X speed, you do waste an energy, especially if you do go first. But, you know, it's just like a cool deck, and I just definitely wanted to mention it because it is cooking the tournaments prep. Is it the best ranked deck so far? Probably not. But like I said, in case the meta does shape up to be something else. And just as a little bonus, there's this Sivally Oricorio deck that actually has the Aura too. So another just Sivally variant. Like I said, Sivally looks like that kind of like card people were just like kind of like using the slot in the different engines. And yeah, just cool because, you know, starting this first, bro, is pretty good. Like Zeroara going first, godlike. Sivally going second, godlike. So you gotta have like a version that's going like good going first and second. But then Oricorio is just Oricorio. Anyways, these are like the 5 new best decks. So basically, just to repeat myself, I think the best deck to play is going to be the Sivally Rampardos because it is the easiest to play. You go second, dude, and you don't brick, you're probably winning the game. I think the second best is going to be Buzzwole. I think low-key, I think Sivally Rampardos and Buzzwole are tied, so I think those are the best two. I think the Decidueye is a pretty good counter to both of them. If you do go second, going first, a little bit rough in the Sivally matchup, in my personal opinion. But I think the Decidueye does both good in the both of them. And then we have the Greninja Sivally, which is, you know, a good variant of Sivally. I probably think the Rampardos one is way better. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you don't have Rampardos or something, or you want to play Greninja, I think it's a very fine option as well. And the last deck is probably going to be Tapu Koko, which I don't really recommend. If you don't have anything else, I would play it. Like, you know, if you really like the deck, go ahead and play it, bro. But I think it's better low-key maybe in tournaments, possibly. But right now, with all the Sivally Rampardoses, I would personally stay away from that deck. And yeah, so I basically hope you guys take these deck lists and are able to you know, cook and rank, you know, get the rank you guys want, whether that be like Master Ball, going for Ultra Ball, Great Ball, whatever. Because I personally just hit Master Ball, and I'll have it on the screen. I had like a 66% win rate playing Buzzwole and Decidueye, and 80% of the time, like I said, bro, I faced against Sivally and Rampardos, and Buzzwole was like the other 20%. Anyways, if you guys want like old deck lists, I actually uploaded one like the last day of the previous rank. Obviously those builds are a little bit outdated, but if you want some references for like the other top tier decks that are like still in the game, because to be honest, most of those decks are still fine. Like, are they as strong as they used to be? Some of them are not, but they, you know, definitely can be references. So I'll link that in the description. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, bro. Let me know if you guys enjoy these deck lists. Like I said, bro, some like the support card ratios can change in those deck lists. Anyways, I hope you are able to achieve the rank you are going for with these lists if you do choose to use some of these. And yeah, so basically this video was just for the top 5 new ones. I will definitely have a video either on Monday or Tuesday, like after the big tournaments, and once the meta, like, you know, definitely settles down and gets a little bit solved. We might not get all the way solved, but just, you know, a little bit. I'll definitely make an updated best decks to play in ranked on those days. And I know I already said it, bro, but peace out, have a lovely day once again.